Hi, I'm Sean Waterman and you're watching Cyberscoop TV. Today we're at the Black Hat Convention in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm joined by Mikko Hypponen, who is the Chief Research Officer for F-Secure. Thanks for stopping by, Mikko.
Thank you for having me.
So I was just listening to your speech there. You talked about artificial intelligence, and you mentioned the question of autonomous weapons. Are you concerned about the future of AI?
Well, it can either go very bad or very good. I mean, superior artificial intelligence will be a reality at some stage. And the crucial thing is when we cross the threshold, when we drop ourselves as the second most intelligent being on the planet, that's where we have to be careful. Because if it goes right, then a superior intelligence will solve all of our problems. And if it goes bad, then we will end up with Terminator 2.
And so what's going to decide which way it goes? What are the factors?
The rules we program for the artificial intelligence before it becomes superiorly intelligent, those are the things that define how it will work. I mean, you could look at the 10 laws of robotics and define the ethics for a machine or the boundaries for a machine, but we can't do it afterwards. And the thing that worries me about the race for artificial intelligence is that it really is a race. Because Google wants to be the first, IBM wants to be the first, Apple and Facebook want to be the first. And when you are in a race, what you don't do is that you don't stop and look, are we really doing this safely? And that's a little bit worrying.
Well, that is very concerning. I mean, do you think there's any kind of a role for government as a regulator?
Yes, there probably should be something done by governments, or maybe some kind of a rules or maybe even laws on how this is being applied. The question really is that are our decision makers and politicians really aware of how big a thing this is going to be?
So, do you feel you have a role then as a sort of, obviously there are Cassandras out there, Mr. Musk, for example.
Sure.
Do you feel there's a role for thought leaders like yourself to try and educate policymakers?
I try to do it as much as I can. I do meet a lot of politicians and policymakers, and the problem we have is that these people, they're not technology people at all. So they really rely on their advisors. And we often see misguided advice given to politicians by their advisors. For example, UK politicians demanding a ban on strong crypto, which is just completely backwards.
Right.
I mean, you can't do that. But it's easy to see why they would say that if they're not technologists themselves and if they're given bad advice by their advisors. So the advisors are actually the key position. And those are the ones we, security people, should be speaking with.
Moving on to another topic you raised in your talk about the Internet of Things. Now, what we found over the past few years is that this explosion of connected devices, all very cheaply made, often being shipped with known and patchable vulnerabilities in the software, completely insecure. Can we make them secure? Can we make the devices secure?
We're sort of setting ourselves up for failure with the fact that the most important selling point for appliances, especially home appliances, is price. When you go shopping for a washing machine, you're not really asking questions about the firewall features or the intrusion prevention technologies in your washing machine. You're asking how much is it? And that means that the vendors cannot afford to invest money into making them more secure, because if they would do that, it would make it more expensive. And price is the most important selling point, and nobody's asking for cybersecurity, and this is the core of the problem. And if the devices aren't secured by the vendor, it's very hard to secure them afterwards, because we can't do it the way we do it with our computers and phones. We can't install a security software in your devices, so we have to do it some other way.
Well, I was going to say, do we just have to live with a universe which is full of insecure web-connected devices?
Well, one thing we could do is regulate this as well. We already regulate the safety of home appliances.
Right.
For example, fire safety and electrical safety. We could also regulate security of our appliances, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So in the meanwhile, we have to find another way of doing it. And I do believe we are seeing now the birth of a new security product category, and that's going to be security routers like this. So new devices which will create a separate network in people's homes just for the IoT devices. And then, because you can't run security software on the device itself, we secure the devices from the network.
So this reaches out, I mean, this is the interface that through which these devices can connect to each other and to the internet outside the home.
Correct.
So it's a sort of gateway, firewall, as it were.
It's a router, and you get a user interface to your home from your phone. So we have a phone application which will then tell you all the devices in your home which are online, and will also tell you when they do weird stuff, and you can then decide what you want to do about those devices. Okay. So it's the next best thing we can do once we figure out that we can actually run security software on these devices themselves.
So that's empowering the consumer then, really, to become their own security manager, their own CISO.
And we try to make it so easy that the average user could do it in their home. So very simple interface, really understanding what's happening, and like notifying you that, for example, the webcam you have in your bedroom, we've just been informed that it has a security vulnerability. Would you like to take it offline while we wait for a patch? Things like that, which are easy to understand, so you understand the implications.
Well, Mikko, thank you so much for your time. I enjoy the rest of Black Hat, and you can see more of us at cyberscoop.com or on our YouTube channel.